In this video I'm going to be talking about 5 commandments for life, courtesy of Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell is one of the most famous and prolific English philosophers in history. He wrote tons of books and was actually given a Nobel Prize for his literary work. Having spent a long period of time lecturing at Cambridge University, Bertrand Russell came up with 10 commandments for teaching. Now I actually feel that a lot of these commandments can apply to everyday life, and that's why I've selected 5 of them for this video. Number 1. Do not feel absolutely certain of anything. First one in, and this is a big one for me. I feel like if everyone adopted this principle, then the world that we live in would be a much better place. It feels like every prominent issue in society right now divides people into 2 warring factions. Trump versus no Trump. Leave versus Remain. Meat eating versus veganism. Us versus them, basically. We always divide ourselves into teams, and we always know with 100% certainty that it's our team that is the right team to be on. Except this is just never the case. And society moves forward through discussion and conversation about controversial topics. There's a great philosophical tool known as dialectics, in which 2 people with opposing ideas converse with the goal of reaching the truth. This is one of the key ways that we can move forward as a society. But something like this only works if those involved appreciate the fact that they might just not have everything sussed out. If we can just get past our unflinching certainty about everything, it will serve us so well. Now, another reason to abandon certainty is a more personal one. Certainty blocks opportunity. Let's say you've been a photographer for your entire life and you have way more experience than anyone else in the game. If you refuse to pay attention to change, or if you refuse to change yourself, you're going to miss out on so many new things. New lenses, new software for editing, new stylistic devices. The world is changing exponentially every single day. You either change with it, or you get stuck in decay. Number 2, have no respect for the authority of others, for there are always contrary authorities to be found. So we're not exactly talking about being disrespectful to those in authority here. Maybe more that you just shouldn't solely base your respect for them on their position of authority. Also, that you shouldn't allow their authority to dissuade you from disagreeing with them. As people, we've gotten into so much trouble through mindless obedience to authority figures that have dark motives that perhaps weren't recognisable at first. We live in a world, for better or for worse, where people can find themselves in positions of authority for a number of different reasons. Some people might work their way into that position, but others might just find themselves there by chance. It does happen. There are some people that will use their authority for good, and others that will just completely abuse it in every single way. So harking back to the previous statement, we talked about how no one should be certain about anything because it's nearly impossible to be certain about anything at all. This means that both the good and the bad authority figures are most likely flawed in some of their opinions. We need to challenge these people with our thoughts, with our words, ask questions of them. Their authority doesn't give them a free pass. Just because they have an authoritative aura about them does not mean that they don't spend 2 minutes a day wiping shit from their arseholes. Number 3, do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. This one to me is so huge. Millions of people every day do the same jobs, wear the same clothes, think the same things, and say the same things. Some people will conform to literally any idea or trend, for fear that if they don't, they will stand out and this will look bad on them. I mean, there are so many hard set societal rules that just simply don't apply anymore. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Except there's absolutely no guarantee that this is what's going to happen. A lot of us that have gone to university will vouch for that idea. In every area of life, we're given these general rules for success. Follow this age-old route, don't step out of line, and you'll go places, kid. But especially when you're trying to create a career for yourself, you're just fed so much dogma about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Elon Musk has created a self-driving electric supercar in an industry that's been dominated by fossil fuel for decades and decades. Amelia Earhart became the first female aviator to fly solo over the Atlantic Ocean in a time when women were considered inferior to men. I mean, look, it is a massive cliche, but the rules are there to be broken. Learn what is already known and then question every single bit of it. Who cares if no one believes in your idea or dream at the beginning? As long as you do, that's all you need to get started. Number 4, find more pleasure in intelligent dissent than in passive agreement. 4, if you value intelligence as you should, the former implies a deeper agreement than the latter. For this point, we can refer back to our idea of dialectics. Let's say you engage in a conversation with someone who holds a very different opinion than you about a topic, but they're willing to sit down and talk with you so that the two of you can work out the strengths and weaknesses of both sides of the argument. This person might initially seem like your opposition, but in reality, they're your teammate. What we often get led away from in this world is that most of us generally want the same things. Comfort, food, security for our family, and also for the world to become a better place. Someone might disagree with you on a particular topic, but if they're basing their opposing opinion on research that they've done and intelligence that they've acquired, then they're also striving for truth in that particular topic matter. Far more dangerous than the intelligent enemy is the agreeable ally. Unfortunately, because a lot of us aren't keen on conflict, we often choose the ease of agreement over the discomfort of disagreeing with someone's idea or opinion. This is nice on the surface, but in reality, it's a recipe for disaster. Yes, it's lovely people saying that my videos are good, but if there's no one ever pointing out which aspects of my videos are particularly terrible, then I'm just never going to grow. And this applies to many aspects of life. Number 5, be scrupulously truthful, even if the truth is inconvenient, for it is more inconvenient when you try to conceal it. The chances are most of us have lied at least once in our lives, and a lot of us lied as kids. I lied quite a few times if I'm being honest. Most of the time it was to get out of trouble, but generally now I very rarely lie. In a way it's kind of been conditioned out of me. Sometimes I wish that I could lie because it's way easier than telling the truth. This isn't me trying to seem saintly or anything, and if anything, me not lying is less a product of being righteous than it is a product of pragmatism, because lying is almost never worth it. It takes so much work to conceal a lie, and you never get away with it. Even if you never have to actually reveal the truth to the person you lied to. Even if you never consciously attend to the fact that you lied again. Even one small lie is a small vote towards the type of person that you want to become. Whether you're honest and trustworthy or whether you're deceptive. I'm not saying that there is no place whatsoever in which telling a lie might be the more moral choice. But really, it's just better to not get yourself into a position where you have to lie in the first place. When I was younger, I always used to lie about why I didn't have my homework to the teachers, or why I hadn't done it, why I hadn't been able to do it. Things like this. Most people will remember that when you were younger, having a substitute teacher meant that you were probably going to be able to get away with a lot. Substitutes were easy pickings. They often had no idea whatsoever what was going on, and the class would realise this early and destroy them like a pack of hungry hyenas. But one day in French, this substitute teacher turned up, and as usual, I hadn't done my homework. I thought, yes, I'll get away with it because she won't even know that there's been any homework set. Towards the end of the class, she started asking around for homework. She went round one by one, individually checking. And that familiar feeling of dread just bubbled up in my veins. A lot of people will remember that feeling. You've not done your homework and the teacher's slowly making their way round to you. As soon as she got round to me, I started acting as if I was like looking in my bag for my homework, kind of rustling papers, checking in folders, knowing full well that it wasn't there. And I thought, she'll move on and then she'll forget about me. Except she didn't do that. Rather than moving on, she stood there and waited. She's standing there waiting for me to find my homework, and I'm there in my head going, think of a plan, Jack, think of a plan. And what actually ended up happening was it was the end of the class, so she let everyone else go and just waited with me after the class had ended for me to admit that I hadn't done my homework. It was savage. I never really lied about not doing my homework ever again. It was easier to just do the bloody stuff. So that's all the rules covered, and I guess maybe just for clarity, let's do a quick snappy interpretation of the rules and what they mean for living. First off, never be 100% certain about anything. The world is changing every single day, and even the smartest people have to change their minds. Stay open and change your mind as often as you like. Secondly, don't ever let yourself be bullied by people in positions of authority. Their power does not mean perfection. In fact, a lot of the time, people who have reached positions of authority lose sight of what matters, and they become complacent and they stop checking themselves. 3. If you want to go and do something that you love, but you're worried about what people will think of you, just go do it. I'm 25 years old and I've started a YouTube channel. You have a choice. Dive into the water and learn how to swim. Or watch people having fun from the side of the pool. Number 4, seek to have people around you that will challenge you. People that won't let you get away with lazy opinions or let you get away with performing at a level less than what your potential is. Those who say yes to you all the time are feeding you in the moment but starving you over a lifetime. And finally, number 5, be as honest as you possibly can. Be honest with others, be honest in your work, and most importantly, be honest with yourself. You always know deep down what the right thing to do is. Once again, I just want to say thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you for your likes, your follows, everything. I really appreciate it. I'm enjoying this so much. I just want to keep doing more and more videos. If you haven't already, like the video. Most importantly though, hit the red button, subscribe to my channel, please. I will really appreciate it. If you do subscribe, you'll get notifications whenever my videos come out. In fact, if you look next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell. And what happens is sometimes you don't always get notified to channels that you're subscribed to. But if you click the bell, that means you're always going to get a notification. So you'll always know when Fat Lad himself has got a new video for you.